What's good? Welcome to First Stream Podcast presented by BetRivers. On today's show, First Stream Podcast, we're going to talk a little Commanders. We're going to talk some Major League Baseball. Sad's getting cranked up. He's doing a little bit of this right here. He's doing a little bit of that. Lady A is here. Ant is running a little behind. But our pinch hitter, we called him in. One, Josh Kirby, is here for us today. Without further ado, y'all know what we about to do. Let's get it.
Artlist.io.
What's good again? Welcome to First Stream Podcast presented by BetRivers. Make sure you download the BetRivers app or go to www.betrivers.com. You must be 21 years or older to play. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the First Stream Podcast. Hit the bell to enable alerts. Don't forget to tell a friend about First Stream Podcast. Like I said, we got a fire show for y'all today. And I know I say that a lot, but today's show is fire because that's what I'm about to actually spit out. We just had Cowboys week, which didn't go the way that we needed to. So let me get the squad in here, man. Say it. What's good, man? How are you?
Man, y'all went right past Survival Sunday to Suicide Monday.
Hey, yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Hey, I need some backup. Let's get Lady A in here. How are you?
Hello. I said is laughing.
Hey,
Laugh at our pain.
I can laugh, Lady A, because I've been there and I know the feeling.
Hey, you want to see Sad get upset? Watch this. So let me get Kirby. Kirby, man, come on in here, Kirby. How are you, man?
Hey, I mean, all things considered, if I didn't watch that Dallas game, I'd be a lot better. But I'm doing pretty good regardless. And hopefully, you didn't spend a lot of money. You two said in Toothpick to go out and watch that game.
Listen. We did enough, but I'm gonna tell you something. Watch Sad pain. Watch me bring Sad back. Hey, Sad, I did a parlay. We did a parlay this week, right? We did a parlay this week. We did a Dirty Bird parlay.
Oh.
If there was a bird, we picked that team. We picked them all money line except for one team, which was the Eagles, right? We laid the points. Eagles covered, right? Falcons, that's a bird. Money line. Cash that, right? Check. Eagles check. Falcons check. Seahawks. Say it. What did the Seahawks do? Check.
They beat the brakes off of. They beat the brakes.
Check, right? So we got that. Now say it. We got a couple more birds to go, right? We got a couple more birds to go. Okay, so we got Eagles, Seahawks, Falcons. We got another one said. Who else? Who else we got?
Baltimore Ravens.
The Baltimore Ravens versus the Bills with the lead. Said was ready to go to Baltimore and put hands on who? What you say?
John Harbaugh. He can catch these hands. Him and his brother can catch these hands.
Sam was ready to put beat downs on people, man, because they cost us money. Okay, man. But listen, that's how it goes sometimes.
True.
But that's what it's all about. Let's say what's up to everybody in the chat. Kyle was first in the building. My man sends me screenshots. Me and YouTube, we about to have a talk because they keep pulling my man's comments down. Bruce Glass, welcome back, man. How are you? Thank you for hanging in there and coming on back to the show. We really appreciate everything. My main man Droop is in the building. What's good, Droop? And he's waiting for us to cover this Cowboy week. So, we're definitely going to get in that. John Gray's in the building. Hey, Scott Turner is an
imbecile. He's an imbecile.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel your pain. Darius Wowley is in the building. What's good, man? How are you? I appreciate you for dropping in. Make sure you stay in this chat with us so we can keep all this going because we got some talk for you, right? Said John Gray said, "Go Dogs." 28-3. Don Wilson made us the president know. Don, when you come in, you know you're supposed to say, "Mr." That's right. Kyle's here. Kyle said, "Ravens lost money on that too." On this, yeah. So Sad only got the 4 part of that. Sad only got the 4 part of that because they took one of them down. Because there's another bird. In the NFL, right?
Yeah.
And they did their job. So I caught all 5. I caught all 5. So by the time I called Sid to get into this parlay, it was down to 4 because they took one of them off because the money line was gone. So he couldn't get that one. But I felt that pain. Now we're gonna start this with the University of Maryland because I feel like we're not giving them their due, right? Yeah. We've had Maryland on our board twice, right? Once versus Michigan, and they showed really well. I'm going to say something right now that I want each and every one of y'all to remember for when we get to the Commanders, okay? Listen. Mike Locksley told his players, when we go to the University of Michigan, if you don't believe that we're going to win this game, stay home. Don't get on the bus. Don't get on the plane. Don't get on the bus after that. Don't travel to the hotel. If at any point you don't believe we are going to win this game, stay home.
Yep.
And they went up there and they showed their butts. They was giving Michigan everything they could handle, right?
Mm-hmm.
They lost the game, but they came back. And we didn't beat Big Brother, did we say it?
No, we didn't.
But little brother caught them hands, didn't they?
Yes, he did.
Little brother said, "Oh, you want to fight my big brother?" And little brother caught all of them hands. Y'all seen this Maryland game, man. Y'all seen this Maryland game. What do y'all think about Maryland? Do y'all think they got a fighting chance coming up versus Purdue? Because Purdue just coming off a win now. And I'm just giving y'all a little something. They may wind up in our Thursday picks, you know. So what y'all think about Maryland? You know, how did they fare versus Michigan State? Do y'all think they got a shot? Can they put something together? Because they got their schedule lines up really well. They got Purdue, then they got Indiana, then they hit Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
And then they go to Ohio State.
Oof.
I mean, come on now. They getting that momentum. They getting that momentum. They getting that momentum going, right? I think they may hit Penn State before Ohio State, but I think they could catch Penn State too. Tell me how y'all feel about Maryland, lady. Hey, let's start with you.
Well, first of all, this past game, I just want to say I went with Maryland money line, so I knew that what they were going to do. I feel like their quarterback had a lot on his mind. He had a lot going on. We saw his brother.
Yeah, we did.
Go through some things, so that could affect you. Let's be real. He's human, but he pulled it out. I was really proud.
Lady,
I feel like they just did what I knew they could do. I mean,
let me break in right quick. Judge just hit a home run in Texas to break the record.
Wait, 62?
He hit into left field. That's 62.
That's 62 doing it.
Are we crashing a game break to watch that home run now? Like everybody's been tweeting about.
Kirby, we got to be professional. Kirby, we got to be professional.
Hey, you could be watching.
All those memes on Twitter. I just had to say it.
Kirby's like, something's going on.
Go for it, lady.
But no, I just feel like, I just felt it in my gut that Maryland was going to pull that out. I didn't see that being a big problem for them. And based off of the game, when you looked at the game, it wasn't a big problem. Now Maryland was pretty heavy on that first quarter. But they kind of eased up. They didn't have a touchdown in the second half, which that surprised me. It was just 2 field goals. So really they could have gotten way more. I feel like they had good momentum, and for some reason they slowed down, but the whole game slowed down. So the second half, nobody scored a touchdown. So that was okay. As long as the other team's not scoring either, I'm okay with it. But I feel like they slowed down. Not sure why. I think the rain had picked up, so that could be a part of it. But I mean, I knew they would pull it out.
Curb, did you catch this Maryland game, or were you busy working?
Yeah, I'm always working on Saturday. I did see highlights of Maryland versus Michigan. I didn't really catch much of the Michigan State game, but I feel like Talia played a lot better in this game against Michigan State than against Michigan. If you look at the stat line against Michigan, he threw 2 interceptions. And in this game, he had 314 and a touchdown and passed the ball pretty well. I mean, obviously you look here and he sort of not a lot of receiving yards for the University of Maryland, but he was able to spread the ball out to a lot of different people here. Like you got Jeshwin Jones, who had 6 receptions, 60 yards, 54 for Dykes, and Jared and Dupree both have 41 yards. Jared recorded a receiving touchdown. So he was spreading the ball out a lot to all his different receivers in that game. And I just think that was the difference there. I feel like he was more locked in his zone, and he looked more comfortable this week than he did last week.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Jaquan Jarrett is their 3rd wide receiver, right? Jaquan Jarrett is an NFL wide receiver. Where he lands, I don't know, but I'm just going to tell you, they have their Maryland's wide receiver core. They will all get drafted this year. All of them kids can go. Say it. What you got on this?
I mean, Kirby said pretty much what the same thing I was going to say about what he did between the 2 games. You can tell they got him calmed down in the second game and got him to take his time and to read a little bit more, and then let it go. He kind of rushed a little bit against Michigan, maybe because a little bit more pass rush than it was against Michigan State. So, he got into a hurry and then take his time and find the wide receivers and then do the anticipation of the wide receivers going to the different holes. He did that against Michigan State. And we all know Michigan State has a good team, but they're in a semi-rebuild role. They lost a lot of those players from that team that made it, 1 game away.
No, that's
college
Michigan.
football.
1 game
Michigan
away.
State. No, Michigan State lost. They lost.
Right. Yeah,
and they was 1 game away from making the college football because they lost the game before. But I mean, they're in like I said, semi-rebuild role. So, but still, I mean, you still have to play the game, and he did what he was supposed to do. I congratulate him, and he did a good job. Now, to talk about Purdue, who we literally put to the side after covering those first 2 games where we thought they was going to do some stuff and they disappeared.
Yeah,
this makes for an interesting game this week. It really does.
Yeah, it really, really does, because we put them to the side, but they went out and knocked off an undefeated team, right? They really did. Hawk TV has just checked in, and I got you, Kyle. I'm gonna get that up here in a second. I think Kyle is really trying to be our points guy right here. And Hawk said, "Yo," and then he said, "Falcons on fire." Said Braves too. Hey, all the Saints teams did great this weekend, boy.
Not all of them. One hung on for dear life, but not all.
Hey, but they hung in there. All right, so we got about 2 minutes before we get to our picks, right? Mm-hmm. So we got some MLB coming up. Said they went head-to-head and came out on top. Go ahead, talk about your Braves real fast.
Yeah, the Braves in May were 10.5 games behind the Mets before the second half of the season started. They ended up with a 3-game sweep day before yesterday. They swept the Mets for the 3rd game to take a 2-game lead in the division. Made their magic number 1, which means that along with the Dodgers, who has the best record in NFL now. In the MLB has the best record in MLB now. The Dodgers will be in first place. The Braves will be in second place. So we'll get a first round bye. Get a chance to rest up and get everybody together. I think this is going to be a great series between whomever we get, because we tend to get hot after the All-Star game. I don't know what that dude is doing out there in Atlanta, but I love it.
Hey,
2 years, actually 3. This will make the 3rd year in a row they were hot.
Maybe he could guest speak for Ron Rivera at one of these before they get out on the field and get them believing, because I'm throwing shots. I'm throwing all kinds of shots.
I'll tell you one thing said. the Nats just clinched the worst record in baseball.
It looks like the Commanders trying to do that too.
My heart hurts.
Yeah.
For that, because I'm a Nats fan. I'm at the games. I was at their parade, and I'm like, what happened? Well, I know what happened, but
yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
Hey, well, let's get into it right now. Y'all know we at that 15-minute mark. Let's time to play a little. It's time to play Who You Got? Sponsored by BetRivers. Placing bets and cashing checks.
All right. Even before we start that, we need to go back and rehash last week's schedule. Scheduled picks, wins, and losses.
Oh,
so the results of week 4 coming up here right now. Lady A.
Ooh,
leading. Well, actually, Lady A, you actually didn't lead. You led RPAT.
Wait a minute.
Thomas, the guest, the BetRivers guest, Thomas came in at 12-3. Thomas did the thug dizzle. He did it. I'm gonna have to call him and have him do some picks for me so we can get the parlay together this week.
Right.
Hey, my question: why am I not on this list?
You didn't make picks with us.
Kirby.
Kirby, don't worry.
I probably missed it. You're right.
First off, hold on. I want to know. I really, really want to know is how I wind up 8-8.
I got the sheets in the back. I counted twice. Trust me. I went back and I went back and counted each one twice. Matter of fact, I had to go back and look at Lady A's pick for the Jets because I had to make sure I had it right, and I did, and that's actually what gave her the lead.
Oh my God!
Lady A ended 9-7. Me, 2 picking Ant, all ended at 500. So the NFL overall pick leader is still me. Still me. 33-31 to one tie. We all know was the Houston Indy game. Ant Mo moved up one game, 32-31. 2 pick and Lady A tied because Lady A brought up the sheet. Hey, you got those couple wins. Lady A, you had the one real bad week.
Yeah, I did. I had like 4 games. That was it. It was awful.
Man, for sure. Hey.
Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. I feel like I'm getting pencil whipped around here. I feel like I'm getting pencil whipped. Listen, I'm gonna need y'all to hang in there with your boy. But I'm coming. They know it. I'm starting to feel my groove. I'm starting to catch it, Cal. I'm starting to get it together. Thomas, hey, look. He said Thomas making money, baby.
Man,
crushed us. Oh my goodness.
Man, I was looking at. I was kind of like.
Did I told y'all at the beginning of the show on Saturday? I said, listen, I've reached out to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I told y'all at the beginning of the show, I've reached out to Vegas, and I got my guy Thomas here. He gonna help you get your pockets right.
Yeah.
Y'all should have been like this with notes.
But hold on, you mean you should have been too?
Well, I took some of that. I ain't take all of it.
Hey, hold on a second. Let me grab the sheet.
So Sayed's grabbing sheets and stuff, and we're about to talk about this game while he's doing what he's doing, okay? We got the Denver Broncos who lost a running back. They lost their main running back, a young, exciting running back, and they're going with the veteran here who actually coughed up the ball against the Raiders, and they had a fumble 6 return, a scoop and score, if you will. We got the Indianapolis Colts. And I can't even remember what they did on Sunday because I'm going to tell you right now. I was drowning my sorrows. I was drowning my sorrows. But what I do know is they have Matty Ice. And I do know that Jonathan Taylor has not found his stride yet. And what I do know is their defense has a couple of players that are hurting for certain. But we got 2 struggling teams right now that'll face off on Thursday night after some heartbreak here for Denver. And did Indy win?
They got crushed by Tennessee 24-17.
They got crushed.
Yeah.
So we got 2 teams coming off of losses, and I'm sorry for not being prepared. It was a crazy day, plus Ron Rivera got my blood pressure going. All right. So we got 2 teams coming off of losses. Everybody needs a win at this point in the season because you got to get yourself right. You got to start to get right. We just passed that quarter pole for the season. First 4 games done in the books. New quarter, time to refocus, time to self-scout, time to evaluate what's going on. Who gets it right Thursday night? That's the real question here. Is it Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos? Is it Matty Ice and the Indianapolis Colts? They're traveling to Denver on a short week. All right, here's the line. We got the we got the Indianapolis Colts plus 3.5 at minus 117 at plus 150. We got the Denver Broncos minus 3.5 at minus 104, minus 175. Over under set at 43, minus 114, minus 107. We will get Ant's pick. We'll get Ant's pick. And this is the NFL. Our guests go first, Kirby, followed by from the bottom to the top. So me, Lady A, and then say
it. Both teams are struggling. I just don't think the Colts have a true answer on what's going on with this team right now. The Broncos, yes, the running back injury was devastating. Russell Wilson isn't playing up to potential. I'm not really sure why that is, but I think I think it's going to be the Broncos, and I think I'm taking the money line.
May I give a little information?
Yes, please. Please, thank you, sir.
Okay,
yes.
I got a chance to look at the injury report from this past weekend of the two teams. What we had so far, the tight end for Denver, the tight end Dolchich is his name. He got placed on injury reserve. Randy Gregory, ex Cowboy linebacker, he's on injury reserve. The running back for Denver, Jay Williams, he's on injury reserve.
Oh man!
They said Gordon will play and he's going to be the starter, even though he put the ball on the carpet. Now, for Indy. This is a major loss for Indy. Leonard is out, concussion and a fractured nose.
Mm-hmm.
They got a defensive tackle that's out with a concussion. The safety, Jay Blackman, is questionable, and they think he may not play. But that's going to we have to catch on that later on in the week. But that's what I got so far with the injury report for this game for Thursday.
With the new concussion rules too. After we all saw last Thursday what happened with Tua Tagovailoa on the field, we knew that these new concussion rules was going to come into play. Here's the first week the first actual game that they're going to come into play, so that the NFL doesn't have what happened last time happen again. So we totally understand that. All right, so Bruce Glass is going with the Broncos. Bruce Glass is going with the Broncos. Braves lead tonight. Said is talking about something totally different right now. Colts. He said Colts plus 3.5 is what Cal said. All right. And Josh, with the information that Said just gave you, you like your pick or you want to switch it? What you want to do?
I still think Broncos money line.
Broncos money line. I got you. Okay. So I'm up to bat next. Ladies before gentlemen.
Okay. I can go. Not a problem. So this game is in Denver. This season, the Broncos are 2-0 at home and 0-2 on the road. So that's a big deal for me. The one thing that the Colts have that the Broncos don't is that win against the Chiefs. So they have that, whether people believe it's a false sense of, that false cockiness that they might have. But I think that the Broncos are going to lean hard on Melvin Gordon, and who's been hard on himself about holding on to that ball.
Yep.
And that to me speaks volumes. When you're hard on yourself about that you have more chance of a comeback from that. He'll bounce back from that. I feel like him being hard on himself, I'm hoping that means that he's working on that. It scares us. I'm going to admit, if he has the ball, I'm like, oh, don't drop it, But with that said, I'm going to just have to go with Broncos money line. I do like the Colts with the spread because of the points and the game when I'm looking at it. But I'm just going to go with Broncos money line because I'm not really sure.
Broncos money line. All right, I'm up next.
See, great minds think alike.
Yeah, they sure don't. Listen,
if they do.
You might have got me by one game, but listen, this is what I know. Vegas wants you to give them $175 to win 110 or to win $100. They don't mind taking your $75 so they can give you back 100. They don't mind that. That's a win for them. But Vegas is also telling you here, look at this eye candy on this money line for the Colts at plus 150. I'm not taking the bait. I do think this is going to be a really tough game. As much as I wanted Russell Wilson in Washington, I'm sort of glad we don't have him. I think he's much better than Carson, don't get me wrong, but I'm sort of glad that we don't have him because I don't know what's off with him right now. Maybe it's the new coach. Maybe it's the rookie coach, new weapons and things like that. I bet you he wishes he was in Washington right now. Maybe not with our offensive line, but he's never had one before. Give me the Indianapolis Colts plus the 3.5. I think they cover if they don't flat out win. But I'm not taking Vegas bait of the plus 150. So give me the Indianapolis Colts at plus the 3.5. Said, thank you, sir.
You made some good points there, Lady A as well. Thank you for the information about Denver. And it's hard to tell what's going on with the Colts. I mean, one day you think they beat the Chiefs. They played an excellent game, ran the ball, defended, and they turn around and lay an egg like this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to go with the Colts and Matty Ice out there. But some of the games have been close, and that's the thing. I like pick. I think I'm gonna take Indy and that plus 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Because Denver hasn't been lighting up the scoreboard either.
Right.
Now I ain't gonna give y'all a nugget. I'm gonna give you a nugget. I'm gonna give you a little something that if you want to put a little something on the game. These teams, both, when Denver's been favored, they are 0-4 being favored, and they're at home, right? But their unders come in. Both of these teams, like Denver can score here and there sporadically, but both of these teams right now are struggling to score. I like the under as well, but definitely I do not even want to mess with the over, and the over is only 43.
Right.
Yeah.
But somehow the under's coming into this game right here. That's just my thoughts. That's how we feel. That's our Thursday night pick for you right there. Now, it is time to get in what everybody came here for. Y'all ready for the main dish? Time to serve it up. Cowboy Week did not go the way that we planned. There was plenty of folks coming down from the DMV. We had the go-go bands out here. I brought Chuck Ice on, right? I was out with Rally Cap on Saturday, right?
You had the Reverend.
That Rev T came down. Rev T came down. Everybody showed up expecting to beat a backup quarterback. There's no other way to slice this thing. Ant had a question. He said, what's the over-under on turnovers? Y'all remember that question Ant had?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I said 3. I said Carson will give you one with the fumble, but we going to get 2 from Cooper Rush. Cooper must have been watching the podcast because he tried to give us 2.
We had to, but penalties called it back.
Yep.
He said,
we had to, but the penalties.
He said, Pick. He said, Pick told me to give up 2, so I'm gonna give up 2.
Yep.
He's a fan. He's definitely a fan. He's watching. Cooper's watching. And we said, nah, man, go take that back. And every time he threw one, they went down the field and scored.
Yep.
Are you kidding me? Our defense was given a great effort. Our offense on the other line, well, they were self-sabotaging themselves. I mean, we got offensive linemen blocking offensive linemen.
Yeah, that was bad.
Embarrassing. We got offensive linemen just saying, have at Carson Wentz, will you? He can't step back. A 3-yard drop. Carson couldn't complete a 3-yard drop. And everybody wonders why he's skittish, why he's gun-shy. I'm going to tell you something. I've never been an NFL quarterback. I have never been an NFL quarterback. But what I have done is I'm a man that served his country, right? And I have friends, I know folks that have been in fights, and they can't stand the sound of loud noises now.
Mm-hmm.
Our quarterback has been hit 17 times. He leads the league in sacks right now.
Yep.
I guarantee you, if they have a blow up, y'all watched Hard Knocks last year when they had them inflatable little Christmas things.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody blew one of those up right now, Carson Wentz is going to jump on the ground because he's tired of getting hit. Right? It's Halloween. Halloween's coming up. People going to start scaring people, right? Carson Wentz is terrified. He's living his worst nightmare. He went from a line in Indianapolis that couldn't pass block for him to a team in Washington that we had a pretty decent offensive line. We added Carson Wentz. That's $28 million. Brandon Sheriff is gone. And then you had to show Eric Flowers the door because you would not renegotiate his contract. Guess what every player wants? Every player wants money.
Yep.
You mean to tell me you can't tell this man, we can't have your number this high, but what we're going to do for you and to help us is to turn some of that money into a signing bonus, give you that right up front. You've been playing excellent for us. We're going to sign you to a little bit of an extension and kick some more money to you. No. We just going to cut you. And the transactions go down today. We bring in another guard off of somebody else's practice squad when you got a man. And maybe, we don't know what's going on. Maybe he had back surgery in the offseason and only him and the team knew about it. Maybe a hip is out of place and the team knew about it, him and the team, and they kept it quiet. Maybe the man had turf toe and he got a toe like, I'm going to get you, sucker. We don't know. But for some unknown reason, they refused to call Eric Flowers. I'll call him for you if you're too proud to beg. I'll call him for you. But I know our quarterback needs a line in front of him. I said too much. I'm going to let y'all talk about this game a little bit, man. I'm going to come back in a little bit. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to listen to y'all. Josh.
Well, the defense for Washington, they did play better. So far, I've found them to be very inconsistent. The defense, when they played the Lions, I was like, what's going on here? Because it looked like the secondary couldn't stop anything. The defense played a lot better today. And, on Sunday. I don't know why I said today. But they were doing the best they could. But you got to give credit where credit is due. CD Lamb is an elite wide receiver in this league. And in where his routes were or the Commanders' defenders were not. Hats off to him. It could have been missed coverage, but I mean, that's just what you're going to get when you have CD Lamb, a versatile wide receiver in this league. But rushing the ball for Dallas, I feel like Washington managed to limit Dallas's running game effectively. Zeke Elliott only 50 yards on the ground. He did not get in for a touchdown at all. Cooper Rush threw both of the touchdowns that Dallas had. So I feel like that was a plus for the defense. But still, the Commanders need to work on the secondary. I still feel like the secondary is shaky, even though they made progress in the right direction. And I mean, there's just the defense, I don't think is as bad, but they need to keep up what they've been doing. They cannot afford to have another step back and have the secondary let anybody get by them and anybody score a touchdown like we saw against Philly, we saw against Detroit. So that needs to continue to happen in order for the Commanders to even think about starting to have success. The offense, Carson Wentz is not getting protected at all. The O-line is decimated. I know we have some key, the Commanders have some key injuries, and it's really not helping them. for crying out loud, looking at the box score, Carson had at least 2 sacks, and he was under pressure pretty much the entire game. And some of these pressures led to intentional grounding penalties because there was nobody in the area of where he threw. And I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like the grounding calls have gone up this season so far, not just for the Commanders, but every team. But besides the point there, it's hurting Washington's offense because, one, Washington doesn't have an effective O-line that can protect their $28 million asset. And I'm going to shout out a man that I listened to today on the Team 980, Lionel Willingham. He said that Carson Wentz, a $28 million quarterback, is playing like a 10-cent quarterback. And I said, you're absolutely right. Because what have we seen out of Carson Wentz ever since those 2 injuries in Philly that proves to us that he still belongs in this league?
Yeah.
From what I've seen, I'm not bought. I'm not bought 100%. And that might not 100% be on Carson. Some of that is to blame for Washington's offensive line. The running game for Washington, they still need to pound the rock. They only had 142 yards on the ground. Williams got in there. McKissick got in there. They need to pound the rock more and more. This was a good showing from the running game, but if I were the coach, I would want to see more. And another thing, Terry McLaurin is still getting limited targets, and I don't know why. He only had 2 receptions for 15 yards in this game. And I mean, you can ramble on and on about this, but you have a great weapon you signed to a 3-year extension in Terry McLaurin, and you're only throwing him the darn ball twice. What's that saying?
Kirby's hitting all my stuff. He's hitting all my stuff.
And
He is.
I think this game goes on coaching too.
Yeah.
Because the coaching game plan, I'm not sure what's being called, because like 2nd 23, 3rd and 24, you're throwing screens. But we've seen this all our lives. If you followed Washington for all your life, you've seen this. And the coaching game plan isn't there. The offensive line isn't there. And I'm not bought on Carson Wentz. And I don't think this team is going to improve until they seriously think about what is going on within this team, within this organization, and figure out what they actually need to do to change it. And the thing for me, and Lionel on the Team 980 also said, we're tired of hearing sweet talk or whatever on Monday after a loss. And Ron saying, oh, we're going to fix this, we're going to fix that. I found a lot of positives out of this game. In my opinion, talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. So if you're going to talk and say you're going to do what you're going to do, Ron Rivera and coaching staff, why don't we see it happening on the field each and every week?
Man, hold on, Kirby.
Go ahead, Lady A.
Sam is enjoying this.
No, because I got some stuff to say that he bounced off some of the stuff I had to say as well.
Well, I'm going to wrap up with this.
I still got time.
I'm going to fire you up.
Go ahead, Lady A.
Thinking really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lady A.
Well, at this point, our entire organization, we look like idiots all the way around. That's what we're looking like. And I've said this numerous times, from the top on down. You know, we have a owner but not owner that's missing. Been missing.
He was found.
No, he was there.
He was
But
found.
that's what I'm
He
saying.
was found.
But not missing. He
And he was wearing Cowboys colors too. I didn't even get into that.
I don't even care about that. Listen,
but you understand what I'm saying though. Like we're in week 4. Okay. And so we have a coaching staff that when you look at, first of all, I went to school as a psych major, so excuse me. But when I look at Ron Rivera and his interview, he's real chill. He looks like he's drinking, he's cussing, he doesn't seem like he's concerned for his job.
Right.
He doesn't seem like there's any
urgency
for anything. Right. And then I look at it and Josh, to say, based off of Wentz, we paid all this money and against Dallas, 170 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions for the whole game. That's the game. The only people he saw were Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick. Antonio has 13 carries. J.D. McKissick has 8. That is the top numbers. That's it. That's what we have. That's all he saw. That's all he knows. And you're right. We have these. We talked about these, our receivers. We have amazing receivers. Why is the top person that he went to, Logan Thomas, 5 receptions, 19 yards. That's
garbage
what we
time.
got.
Those were in garbage time. Garbage time.
But you understand. So at the end of the day, I've been saying it. The offensive line looks like they're purposely allowing Carson to get hit. That's what it looks like. I'm not making any assumptions, but it looks like any given Sunday. It looks like, we saw at one point, it was like he moved out the way, like, hey, go get him.
Yeah.
What is this? Our offensive line, they're over there dancing with each other instead of blocking. It's very easy to see they had on black, right?
Right.
So you have a black jersey. And then you have Dallas, who is not black. Anything other than black, that's who you need to be blocking. So why are you blocking each other? It was bad.
It looked like some Coach 30. It looked like some Coach 30.
And I put on my social media, I said they should have had me come talk to the team at the half. Oh. And everybody's laughing. I was like, no, for real. Because the things that I would have said, I would have been real, because I don't feel like they're being real at this point.
Go ahead, say it. Get in there, man.
All right. I watched most of the game. Because I was flipping back and forth. But one of the things that Kirby hit on was that the wide receivers, especially Scary Terry, is not getting the ball. I said it to myself, like, man, had they thrown the ball his way? As I was watching the game, I was like, wait a minute. Had they thrown the ball away? And for the offensive coordinator to be getting paid as much money as he's being paid, are you telling me you couldn't come up with anything to chip a defensive lineman, chip a defensive end, to give him time to throw that ball? It was almost like, I refuse to do it. They're going to do it my way. Your way is not working.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Your offensive linemen were literally getting ghosted out there. Literally. You got a dude coming off the edge 100 miles an hour, barely being touched. Now, had you have a tight end over there, even the thought of the tight end being there, even the thought of the wide receiver being there, would have made them adjust what they were going to do. Maybe they did twist. Maybe the offensive line probably would have picked a twist better than them being beat off the edge. But they didn't do it. We're going to stay 3 wide, a running back in the backfield, and we're going to see if we can get this pass off. It wasn't working. I felt like I was the only one watching the game. Is he not seeing this? Are they not in the booth telling him, hey, this is not working? Nope. Bring the tight end in, bring the wide. Matter of fact, stack the wide receivers three deep right next to the line on one side. Put the running back on the quarterback's left side. All they can do now is blitz up the middle. Guess what? You got 3 wide receivers on the right. You know what I'm saying? Hit one of them.
Yeah.
Simple to me.
Armand checked in.
Simple to me.
But it's going to hurt losing Dawson for 2 weeks.
But he dropped a couple of balls too, but we'll get in that in a minute. But the biggest thing, like I said, was you got Scary Terry out there. You're not setting him up for a great game. You're not giving him free releases. You're not giving him any help on releases. You know, again, part of it is the offensive line. He didn't have time to throw the ball. The defense kept y'all in this game. This game could have been a blowout. The defense kept y'all in this game and slowed them down enough to allow the offense to give them a chance to come back to win this game. You still, even in the fourth quarter, how poorly the defense had played, the offense had played, you're still within reach
until
the Cowboys.
Until CeeDee Lamb came in motion. Listen, Armand, great. Hey, listen, I'm going to get to some of y'all comments. I've been putting them up. I just haven't read them. Armand, the O-line was built by Ron Rivera, position flex. Remember we kept playing that game? Every time we say position flex, we had to drink. Position flex, we had to drink. Was built by Ron. That O-line's not here. We have one person left off of that O-line. 4 out of the 5 are gone. We're going to be on our 4th center in 4 weeks.
That's not good.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It took us a season to go through 4 centers last year. Right? Now, I'm going to tell you something. You said, Kirby, you said something about CeeDee Lamb, right?
Yeah.
They had a wide receiver come back, and I've noticed something in Detroit when they needed a big play. Amon St. Brown was on William Jackson the third side. Then last week we had St. Juice playing on the outside because William Jackson III was inactive. He was hurt. He's back. And I think that Juice should have been on the outside. Kendall Fuller should have been moved up. You put William Jackson III wherever on the bench, but not on the field. So most of CeeDee Lamb's yards came from when he was lined up on William Jackson III's side, or he got motioned over there. That final dagger, like he came across in motion, widened William Jackson III out. Boom, cut back to where the safety was supposed to be. Wide open. I was so done. Yeah. I was done.
Mm-hmm.
I was done. William Jackson III, he's not playing right. Let's talk about the pass interference call on him. And I'm going to get to what you said, John Graves. We had to play the Cowboys and we had to play the refs. It was egregious, but a good coach knows when I take my team down to Dallas, I have to prepare my team to not get any calls. Don't look for the refs to help you. Do not look for the refs to help you. When Terry had pass interference called on him, you know what he looked and then he thought about it. I'm in Texas. I ain't getting this call. But he still fought. Right? They know they're not getting the calls. I don't care what you say, man. This team was ready to win this game. That offensive line, like what Lady A been saying, it's an inside job. That offensive line is trash. All right.
Terrible.
That offensive line is trash. Now, hey, thank you, Armand. Armand is telling y'all to smash that like button for us. Yeah. Appreciate it. We really need that. Make sure y'all hit that like button. And then I got something for y'all. Let's talk to Ron. Let's ask Ron a question, Ron. How you feel about the fans and what we saying on Twitter?
Responsible, and I understand enough to know, though, that the fans are going to be frustrated. I don't doubt that. I really don't. I understand the history of what's gone on here for a while, and we're trying to change that. But it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be easy. If anybody thought it's going to be easy, they're crazy. You know, I honestly tried to get that across last season, but let's just be realistic about it. I get it. I understand it. And we're going to keep playing hard. That's the only thing we can do, Darren. until we get to the situation. And
First off, let me say, this portion of the show is brought to you by Double Bubble, because Ron is double talking his butt off. Nobody
Talk is cheap.
Nobody put pressure on this team. Nobody put pressure on this team. Ron said this is year 3. We need to make a big jump. Now you want to double talk. Portion of the show is brought to you by Double Bubble. You want to double talk and say you tried to tell us last year to lower our expectations. How are we going to lower our expectations when the man in charge is telling us it's year 3? It's year 3. We about to take a huge step. We about to go out here and rock 'em, sock 'em Cowboys. Are you kidding me? Go ahead.
I got a question. He said that we're going to continue to work hard. Where? No, for real, but where?
At promoting. We're going to continue to promote.
But we saw them working hard against each other. We see them working hard. We literally saw 2 of our players against each other in the middle of the game. Tell me, working hard where, Ron? Where?
Listen.
Because I'm gonna tell you. If it were me, after the Cowboy game, offensive line coach would have been fired.
Well, we
It's
said
not the first week. It's not the second week. This is the 3rd week in a row.
Line coach? No.
Offensive line coach. That's just a start. Something has to change. If you're not gonna get rid of offensive coordinator, the offensive line coach has to go because they have not fixed it. The first play of the game, last game, not this game, the game before, the quarterback is sacked. Negative. That's not ever supposed to happen.
Yeah.
You get the ball. First down, your first possession, 1 play, 1 sack. Are you serious?
Yep.
2 plays, 2 sacks. Are you serious? Offensive line coach should have been fired at the beginning of this game. They should have fired him in the end zone. Then catch his own flight back.
I mean, that happens. And honestly, we said that when we talked about what would happen if they lose this game.
Exactly.
We talked about it. We said something has to happen. I said that, yes, something has to happen. I know what should happen. Is it going to happen? Probably not.
Probably not.
Because this is how this organization runs.
Kirby, Armand said Ron is over his head. He's not Belichick. Coach-centric tactic approach only works for Super Bowl coaches who have earned it. Is he right?
Well, I'm trying to think here because technically Ron made it to a Super Bowl with Carolina. Are we talking about Super Bowl winning? I would assume, but
to me, that's got to be multiple Super Bowls.
Yeah. I'm just trying to piece that part together. If he meant Super Bowl being in a Super Bowl game or multiple Super Bowl wins, but
probably the wins because he said earned it.
Yes.
Right. He did.
Well, I think he's over his head now. I mean, I don't know. That Ron Rivera back in the day, I don't think is the same Ron Rivera today.
No.
Okay, so you think
Riverboat Ron is not the same.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
He said Super Bowl.
We got a OG sighting in this joint. The OGs of the DMV said Ron still think King Kong beat Godzilla, so you can't take him serious anymore. Oh my God! So Armand came back and said Super Bowl winning coach.
Right, I figured.
And then
well,
and then
I will say this. I will say this, Armand. Ron Rivera from Super Bowl 50 when they lost to the Broncos, when he was Carolina's coach, he is not the same Ron Rivera than the one who was coaching in Super Bowl 50. I think everything's changed for him. I don't know what. I can't say for sure, but something has changed.
It's Washington. Washington.
I'm gonna tell you what's changed.
People and they change, and it's
No,
not for the better.
no. I'm sorry. Listen,
it's Dan.
I'm gonna tell. It's not Dan. I'm gonna tell y'all what it is.
What is it?
Everybody seems to be overlooking it, but that's why we're here today. Everybody, come in. Let's huddle up. Let's huddle up.
Oh Lord.
Let's huddle up.
No, Lordy.
This is the problem. His defensive coordinator that he had in Carolina, where is he now?
He ain't with him now.
Where is he? He's in the NFL, but where's he at?
So you feel he needs his old defensive coordinator? Who was his defensive coordinator? I don't remember.
Somebody in the chat know. Kirby, you don't know who his defensive coordinator was? Say it. His defensive coordinator cost us some money.
Harbaugh?
His defense coordinator is not Harbaugh.
I'm
He's
about
the
to say-
other coach.
I was about to say there.
He's the other coach. What has Ron done without him? Since he's gone on to Buffalo,
Oh wow, yeah.
what has Ron done without him? Don't forget, JDR was sitting at home on the couch like us. He had to find somebody that was credible. And what we saying right now is the defense is still keeping us afloat. Right? And he said, I remember Ron saying that we should be able to drop a quarterback in here. We should be able to drop a quarterback in here. Say
And
it.
they always say that, and they're always wrong.
But guess what? You got to look at you got to know what's in the draft. You got to look ahead. So when you got here 3 years, you should have been looking at who was freshman in college, who was redshirt freshman, who do I need to go before my third year to get a quarterback, which would have been the year when we got Chase Young, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been that year. Because what's coming behind that, let's look and see who's eligible, right? Everybody was talking about, what was the guy named? He was in Oklahoma. He's not in Oklahoma no more. Then he's in South Carolina, and he had to transfer, and he got his job taken. Everybody was talking about that kid, and I was like, why is he a Heisman candidate? What has he done to show anybody anything? That's what he was doing. He was looking at Spencer Rattler. That dude ain't going to help you. Come on now. Stop playing with me, right?
Yeah, he'll be able to get him in the third or fourth round now.
There he is. See, I knew somebody was going to come through for me.
I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
Wait, the defensive coordinator?
That was his defensive coordinator when he was in Carolina.
Okay. Like that's not.
That was his defensive coordinator. Sean McDermott and Leslie up there in Buffalo. They got them teams rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Right? They innovative. So I see what Corey be saying. Give me somebody young. Give me somebody innovative. Did you see San Fran last night? Did you see their defense flying all over the field? They made. Don't get me wrong. Hey, the Super Bowl champs right now, they struggling. They still punch drunk from all the liquor they was drinking. They are.
They lost players, man. They're not the same. They're not the same team.
They're not the same team from last year. They are not the same team.
But nobody's the same team from last year. It's just that one thing that's consistent with our team is that we put people in places that they shouldn't be. We know this.
Yeah.
Right.
We've had, look at the past 20 years. We've had front office issues. We've had coaching issues. We've had people being drafted that shouldn't have been just because they're friends with somebody. It's politics. And it when we get back to football, we'll be fine. But until then, it's going to be some trash.
You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Until they concentrate on nothing but winning football. Now, I said to y'all earlier that my guy from Maryland, Loxley, told his team, if you don't believe that you can win, don't get on my bus, don't get on the plane, don't get off the plane and get on the next bus to go to the hotel if you don't believe that we can beat Michigan. Maybe Locke should have spoke to the guys before they got on the bus to come down here to Dallas, right?
He should have.
And maybe Locke should have been at the airport and told him put the work in this week so that King Henry and company doesn't come in and embarrass you.
Right.
But Ron's got something to say right now, and he want to speak directly to us again. Let's go to Ron.
Fans, I get it. I was in Carolina when we showed up there and they were 2-14. And I heard the frustration.
Stop. Ron, you're not in Carolina anymore. Dorothy's not in Kansas, and you're not in Carolina. Let's go back to Ron real fast.
Fans, I get it. I was in Carolina when we showed up there and they were 2-14. And I heard the frustration. We worked our butts off to try and get it to where it was. I got here. I understand everybody's frustration, especially how proud this organization is. Shit, this organization's got 5 championships. Are you fucking kidding me? I get it. I understand how important it is to win.
We don't believe you.
First off, it's a family show, Ron, and I'm going to need you to watch your mouth. I'm going to hit you with a fine this week for coming on First String Podcast and dropping F-bombs. Swear jar's coming your way, sir. The swear jar's coming your way. The next thing, you not in Carolina no more.
Right.
You can take your Scott Turner back to Carolina and leave him there. Please find me an offensive coordinator that is innovative. Find me an offensive coordinator that wants to run the ball, roll my quarterback out because the offensive line can't pass protect, dash, sprint. How about we do this? How about we get a scouting department that's not from Carolina that knows what the Hogs used to look like and what they were famous at doing? How about we do that, Ron? How about you find anybody in your building and tell them that you will give them a bonus if they can find you a center that can run block? If you can find a guard that won't olay their man.
Right.
Come on, man. You think we don't know? Bruh. We have a head coach that won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. The one constant was the offensive line. You got one of the best offensive line coaches in the league in your building. How about you listen to him? How about you get that man a grocery list and say, who do you want? I'm going to go get it.
Well, let me say
somebody else talk. I'm gonna take a water break.
Let me say this though. He keeps comparing himself to the Ron from Carolina. And he's talking about how, when I got there it was 2-14 and we worked our butts off. Okay, so comparing our Ron to Carolina's Ron, he still failed.
Look, I look in the mirror every day. I look in the mirror every day, and I still see 25-year-old toothpick. Fine, cut. And you know what my wife do? Ha ha. Oh. That ain't you, buddy.
Oh, watch out now.
Dang.
But she still love me though. So.
But we don't love Rondo, so that's a different story. But this is not an unconditional love here. We are looking at him because he's being paid to do a job. And so if you come to us and we are trash and you can't turn it around, stop comparing what you're doing here to what you did in Carolina, because we don't see you working your butt off. We don't. He keeps talking about this. We don't see it. He's talking about, we were 2-4 when I got there. Okay, well, we're on year 3. And right now what is our score? So are you telling me we're on our way to 2-14 or something? I'm confused. What are you saying? So I need him to just shut up and coach at this point. I don't want to say it because I'm trying to be dismissive. At this point, you are frustrating us by what you're saying. We need action. We need somebody to react. We need him to get out there and do the job that he's paid for. He's making a lot of money. And I told y'all, the HR lady in me is like, okay, at some point, where's the performance evaluation? And at some point, he needs to be on his final written warning and he needs to go.
See this right here.
That won't happen though. That's the thing.
This right here.
That's a problem.
This is what the fan. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. Washington fans are real smart fans. We done seen bad things happen for a very, very long time, right? And we want change, right? And they got us back in the stadium this year. You know how they got us back in the stadium? They're talking about we got a quarterback. Well, hold on, wait. And then we had a name change, right? And we saw the draft. And we looked at Jahan Dotson. Everybody was like, who is Jahan Dotson, right? And we started to watch his tape, do his research. And we're like, oh, this kid can catch, right?
And they got Terry.
And we spoke, and they got Terry back. And they got us back in the building. And then week 1, they came and showed out. Got us excited, right? And Philadelphia showed up, was like, oh, y'all still the same Washington football team we stomped last year, right? So listen, what I'm saying is this. Our fans are smart. We don't like BS on the field, and we do empty the stadium. I'm not calling for y'all to empty the stadium. I know everybody don't have disposable income like that to let tickets go, right? But you think they don't know that? You don't think that's why they put out so much good stuff? You don't think that's why after that terrible game we had against Philly, all of a sudden the black uniform showed up?
Yeah, because they didn't have a date. I have my little insiders. They did not have a date to they thought that they were not going to show the black uniforms until November.
They were supposed to wear the burgundy uniforms. They were supposed to wear the burgundy jerseys this week.
But they switched it because when you look at who came, remember I said that I went to the Philly game. When you look at this stadium at the Philly game, it was an embarrassment to that organization. You allowed that many of the opposing team, all those fans. What you saw on TV was not the complete picture. It was only a snapshot. That was a difficult game to attend as a Commanders fan. It was very difficult because you're not only were there so many Philly fans there, but we lost. And let's be real, Philly is not the game you want to lose.
No.
Because Philly fans are absolutely outrageous.
I know. Yeah. Hitting Santa Claus at Christmas time.
Right. And you do not allow that many. First of all, it was already bad that you had that many fans coming in. So the fans are already pulling back already this season. The fans are already pulling. I had tickets to this upcoming Titans game that I put up for sale. It went nowhere. Wow. Nobody's going to buy this. And I was trying to sell it first. I put it up there at cost. I had to go and change the price again. It went nowhere. It did not sell. So I'm going to the game. But at the end of the day, our fans are pulling back. But when we have these home games and the fans are pulling back, the other team is showing up. So they're still making money. And when they started sharing the pot, y'all notice when the owners start sharing the pot, Dan started changing a little bit. He started changing a whole lot, So if you have people that are coming to work every day and you give them the impression that they can do the minimum amount of work, they're not really doing their job, or they're just doing the minimum, and you're going to still pay them, they're going to continue with that behavior.
Facts. Now, hey, Armand's got a question, or Armand's got something right here. He says, Dan don't have the $20 million to see Ron and JDR go. He caught in too much litigation. And this goes back to what John was saying earlier. We don't really have the cash because he got to spend it on the lawyers or whatever. Remember, he did get a loan from the NFL to buy out his other partners, right?
Right.
So this name change, this gear, everything that we're buying is pretty much Ron's going to get his, I mean, not Ron, but Dan's going to get his share back from all of that stuff, but that's going to be later. That's down the road cash. So in all actuality, what we really do need to hope was happening when Dan was with Jerry is that Jerry was saying, look at here, Dan. My friend Jeff Bezos is about to come holler at you. He's going to make you a Godfather offer that you can't refuse. And if I was you, I really wouldn't refuse it because I seen the tapes. And I know what Congress got on you. So go on and sell that thing to Jeff Bezos so that I can beat up on him during the season and I can get me some free Amazon shipping.
I need Pick to never do a Jerry Jones impersonation again. This was so disturbing.
Oh my.
Irving. But I have heard Jeff has been interested in the team. It's no secret. So, but Dan is his ego won't allow him to do certain things. That's the problem with him.
Listen, that man needs money to keep living that life that he's living.
Mm-hmm.
And this is costing him. As much as he might be a fan and an owner of this team, like this is costing him, but this is not really about Dan right now. This is literally about our coaches who tomorrow have to step in front of a room of grown men and come up with some sort of game plan to convince them to go out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to work as hard as they can so that it pays off on Sunday. So here's my final question to everybody on the panel, and it's going around. So keep y'all comments coming. We appreciate everybody for hanging in there with us. It's really, what can you say to a team that in the last couple of games has mustered less than 17 points? What can you say to convince them that they have what it takes to win a game? Josh, I'll start with you, man. You the guest.
If you don't believe you're going to beat the Titans, then do not show up at FedEx Field.
There you go.
Period. The end.
God, no.
There you go.
What do you say, Josh? What do you say?
Good job.
What do you say, Josh? Tell him again.
Oh my goodness.
If you don't believe you are going to beat the Titans this Sunday, do not show up at FedEx Field. Do not get dressed. Do not step foot in our locker room.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Okay. Lady A.
So I feel like in order to win at this point, these guys have the tools. For some reason, it's just not all coming together. We have talented people on this team. For some reason, the talent is working against each other. So I feel they're capable of beating the Titans. They were capable of beating Dallas. They're capable right now of beating a lot of teams in the NFL. However, we do talk about the coaching. We do talk about you have to go from the top down. If they get tired of losing and looking silly, they'll win. It's as simple as that. Get your stuff together. It's like you have to just man up. At some point, you got to man up. You got to get tired of losing, and you just got to go for it. Do your job and do what you do. They're able to beat the Titans. They have the capability. They have the talent. It's there. Don't let it fall apart. Do your job. Get in there. Get the W. That's all you're supposed to do when it comes to the NFL. I think when we had Doc on here, he was kind of going with that same mindset. And this is a former player. Like, you get in there, you get the W. That's what you get paid for. That's it.
Say it.
Man. If you don't believe that the Commanders can change their stripes to win this game, you need to start calling for somebody's head all day, every day. If you got started at the top, you started at the top. But somebody other than the defensive line coach has to be fired. It has to.
Mm-hmm.
They got to do it. Somebody has to be held to accountability for someone to see, okay, they serious now. What do we need to do to change? Personally, I already said what I said. Offensive line coach got to go. I ain't gonna lie. He was in Georgia. He be gone, player. He got to go.
The coordinator got to go.
Him too. But that offensive line, dog, he got sacked the first two plays, all player.
Hold on. Say it. I'm sorry, man. Sorry. I told y'all this was gonna be the last thing, right? But I lied. I really did. Hang in there with us. Listen. Say it.
Yeah.
If you're the head coach, right?
Right.
I'm a position coach. I'm the offensive line coach.
Right.
And you tell me to give you my starting 5. Okay, coach, here's my starting 5. We got Leno Jr. or Leno the second, whoever, whatever. He's gonna be our starting left tackle. We solid there. We got Norwell, who hasn't practiced all the training camp. He's gonna be our starting guard. We got our regular center in there, and then we got Trey Turner, who hasn't practiced all summer. I think he just got out of a hot shower and ate a sandwich in the galley, but he just walked in the building. So he's going to be our starting right guard. And then we got our normal right tackle who is hurt, and he lost a little time in the preseason. But other than that, we good to go. What would you say to me?
My answer would be, if they fail this game, you can just pack your bags.
Yep.
That's what happened.
If they fall down in this game, you can just pack your bag. Because that's what Ron should be doing.
We had 2 guards that did not participate in any contact during the whole training camp, but walked into starting jobs. And you talk about competing.
Yeah.
What did they compete with?
Themselves.
I mean, you mean to tell me that you giving away jobs, and this dude over here busting and sweating and hurting ice packs and cold tubs and massaging and not the Deshaun Watson massages, but the massages to get the soreness out. And this dude over here on the secondary field, coking and joking, going over and under hurdles. And now you decide to put him in week 5. You decide to replace him. Come on, man. Listen, hey, I appreciate each and every one of y'all time, man. Ant-Mo jumped in the chat.
I'm so glad Ant-Mo was not on this stream to trash us. I am thankful for that.
He jumped in the chat.
As always, the Cowboys do stink, and Cowboys fans think that they won the Super Bowl in this game beating the Commanders, because they won't win another game this season, Ant-Mo.
Oh, man.
That's just me picking on Ant-Mo. Love you, bud.
Hey.
Man, put it out there.
That's just me picking on him. I love Ant-Mo. Ant-Mo's my guy. With a great, great podcast setup, too.
Yeah. Listen, we appreciate each and every one of y'all for jumping in there with us. Thursday, we coming at y'all, man. We're coming at y'all live and strong. I may have a guest. I'm still talking with him right now, and I'll let y'all know. But on Saturday, we got our NFL picks, and my guy, Big Money, will be our guest picker this week. So make sure y'all stop by. Our guest picker last week was hot. Went 12-2.
Man.
I'm not so sure.
12-3, right?
12-3. He went 12-3. I'm not so sure Big Money's gonna go that hot, but the bar is set that high. Bar set high, so say it. It's set pretty high for him, right? So say it. We call it an OG classic because we get in and we get out. Say it. Tell him.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.